Hey guys, what's up? Today I'll be showing you the relaxation protocol created by Dr. Karen Overall. Dr. Karen Overall is an animal behaviorist and researcher who has developed a number of helpful training protocols geared towards modifying and rewarding appropriate behavior in dogs as well as other animals. Her protocol for relaxation outlines a set of tasks that a dog guardian or trainer would complete in an effort to teach your dog to relax in a variety of circumstances. Dr. Overall has split each set of these tasks into sets, and there are 15 sets in total. For my clients, I like to assign no more than one task set per day to keep the progress easy and attainable. Although the tasks start out easy, like teaching your dog to lay down for 10 seconds or lay down while you take a step back and return, these tasks quickly get harder, like disappearing from view for 20 seconds or knocking on the door or ringing the doorbell. All the while, the goal is for your dog to remain calm and happily sitting or lying on their mat despite all of the distractions happening around them. The format for the protocol is simple. Have your dog sit or lie down on their mat. Perform the written task. Give your dog a treat if they remain seated or lying down during the task. If your dog remains seated on their mat, continue to the next task and on down the list. If your dog gets up while you're performing the task, have them lie back down on their mat and try again. If they fail again, try breaking the task down into smaller pieces. If they fail a third time, pause today's tasks and try again tomorrow. It's important that these tasks not become frustrating for either you or the dog. Although the protocol has 15 sets of tasks, it's unlikely that your dog will get through all the tasks in only 15 days. I would actually expect your dog to fail on some days and to have to repeat those tasks on the next day. That is totally fine. This protocol happens at your dog's pace and no one else's. Dr. Overall has provided even more specific instruction as a part of this protocol, which I've included in the description below. If you really want to get nerdy with me and want to have a better understanding of the ins and outs of this protocol and how it can help your dog be more relaxed in a variety of settings, be sure to check it out. Now, this video is going to be a bit different from the other videos on this channel. Typically, we're talking a lot about training topics and I'm showing you bits and pieces of training as we're talking about it. But I also think it can be just as important to see the training spread out over time, to give you a feel of what it's like to work with a real live dog. So that's what I'll be doing for you today. If you want some more context around what I'm showing you here, let's take a look at our mat training video, which I'll have linked in the description below as well. Otherwise, what you'll see here is Karen Overall's relaxation protocol, mostly uninterrupted. I'll be trimming out some of the setup and any of the breaks, but I've left the training process largely untouched whenever possible. From time to time, I think it's so important to show training in its entirety to give dog guardians a realistic view of what the process is like. So here it is, successes, failures, and everything in between with Dr. Karen Overall's dog relaxation protocol.
Hey, Eric here. It has been so much fun for me to do this protocol here with Chester. And as we jumped in and started filming and editing this video, we figured out that we were going to change some things a little bit right off the bat from what the text says, which again is linked in this description here below. One of the first things that you'll see is different right off the bat is that I'm calling out the instructions and the tasks as I'm having Chester do them. I wouldn't recommend that you do this here, but to help you keep track so that we could throw some visuals up on the screen and so we didn't drive our editor crazy, I'll be calling out these instructions as they happen. But when you do this protocol at home, we'd actually recommend that this be mostly silent. From time to time, you will be knocking on things and ringing the doorbell and making some sounds. That's all just fine, but in terms of calling out the instructions as they happen, this will be a largely silent protocol. Second, you'll notice that true to the text of the protocol, we're saying sit while you do these different things. Sit while you take 2 steps back and return, sit while you the dog remains still for 30 seconds. And you'll notice Chester is lying down for most of this. We generally like a dog that's lying down rather than sitting because over time what we found is that they start to get really, really relaxed in this protocol and they start to learn that the only thing that they have to do is basically lie there and do nothing. And so you will see this from Chester as he starts to develop as we progress through the different days. into a more relaxed dog, and that is so beautiful. So even though I'm saying sit while you do this, sit while this happens, really we're asking for a lie down, and he pops up from time to time, but that's not a big concern here as long as he's staying on that mat and being generally relaxed. We see a relaxed dog when they are lying down, maybe their hips are cocked to the side, maybe their head is down, they're looking away. Maybe they look bored to you. At the end of the day, really what they are is calm or presumably peaceful. And so those are some of the markers that we see that we really like, that as you watch through these different task days, you'll see Chester becoming more and more relaxed, even as we're increasing the things that we're asking of him and making things more difficult for him. He's just done a really excellent job through this protocol. The last thing that we notice here is this is a lot of video to get through. So we decided to split this into 3 different videos, day 1 through 5, day 6 through 10, and then day 11 through 15. And those parts 2 and 3, we'll go ahead and link up above whenever we have those videos done, edited, and posted for you so that you can see the totality of that protocol. But we did want to get these first few days out to you because there's some really good tasks in there, some really good starting points when we're looking at getting a relaxed dog. I'm Eric Pasha here with the KIND Canine, and without further ado, let's get into the relaxation protocol, days 1 through 5. Sit for 2 seconds. Yes. Sit for 5 seconds. Yes. Sit for 10 seconds. Yes. Take 1 step back and return. Yes. Take 2 steps back and return. We're going to do that one again, okay? Down. Take 2 steps back and return. Yes. Sit for 5 seconds. Yes. Sit for 10 seconds. Yes. Take 1 step to the right and return. It's okay. Come here. Can you sit? I'll do that again. I'm not going to bump into something. Yes. 1 step to the left and return. Yes. That's right. Can you sit down? What are you doing? Are you being goofy? Good. Sit for 5 seconds. Yes. Sit for 10 seconds. Yes. Sit for 15 seconds. Yes. Take 2 steps to the left and return. Yes. Sit for 5 seconds. Yes. Sit for 10 seconds. Yes. Sit for 15 seconds. Yes. Clap your hands softly once. Yes. Sit for 5 seconds. Yes. Sit for 10 seconds. Yes. Sit for 15 seconds. Yes. Take 3 steps back and return. Yes. Count out loud to 3. 1, 2, 3. Yes. Count out loud to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. Count out loud to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes. Clap your hands softly once. Yes. Count out loud to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. Count out loud to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes. Count out loud to 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yes. Take 3 steps to the right and return. Yes. Clap your hands softly twice. Yes. Sit for 3 seconds. Yes. Sit for 5 seconds. Yes. One step back and return. Yes. Sit for 3 seconds. Yes. Sit for 10 seconds. Yes. Sit for 5 seconds. Yes. Sit for 3 seconds. Yes. And we're done. Come on, Chester. Very good. All right, so day 1 with Chester in the books. I think all in all, it went pretty well. We were working in this room, kind of a smaller space, and a lot of the fails that we saw from Chester when he popped up and got off of his mat were actually from me bumping around stuff in the room. You couldn't see much from the angle that we had filming, but we've got a basket here and a dog treadmill here and just some other things around the room that as I was maneuvering around, I had to make sure that I wasn't bumping into. So So not a whole ton of stuff on his end that he really needed to work on. I need to get my act together and make sure I'm not bumping into stuff. So we've made sure to move some things around for day 2. Sit for 5 seconds. Yes. Sit for 10 seconds. Yes. Take 1 step back and return. Yes. Take 3 steps back and return. Yes. Sit for 10 seconds. Yes. 3 steps to the right and return. Yes. 3 steps to the left and return. Yes. Sit for 10 seconds. Yes. Take 3 steps to the right and clap your hands. Yes. Take 3 steps to the left and clap your hands. Yes. Sit for 5 seconds. Yes. Sit for 10 seconds. Yes. Walk 1/4 around the dog to the right. Yes. Take 4 steps back. Yes. Walk 1/4 around the dog to the left. Yes. Sit for 10 seconds. Yes. Take 5 steps back from the dog, clapping your hands, and return. Yes. Walk halfway around the dog to the right and return. Yes. Walk halfway around the dog to the left and return. Yes. Very good. Sit for 5 seconds. Yes. Sit for 10 seconds. Yes. Jog quietly in place for 3 seconds. Yes. Jog quietly in place for 5 seconds. Yes. Jog quietly in place for 10 seconds. Yes. Sit for 10 seconds. Yes. Jog 1/4 around the dog to the right and return. Oh, is that too much? Can you say? Good. Yes, very good. Jog 1/4 around the dog to the left and return. Yes, very good. Sit for 5 seconds. Yes. Sit for 10 seconds. Yes. And we're done. Good job, buddy. Very good, puppy. All right, and that's day 2. Chester did a fantastic job. Again, a lot of the things as we're starting to get into the protocol and it's asking for more are really things that I need to look ahead at and make sure that I'm able to execute on successfully. So today it was a little tight as I was getting around and maneuvering around Chester, which you don't necessarily need to be so close to the dog when you're doing some of these things because it can kind of really freak him out. And that's kind of what happened today. So we're gonna be moving things around a little bit more so that I've got a little bit more ability to move around him without getting so close to him and freaking him out. But otherwise, Chester did an awesome job. All right, day 3. Sit for 10 seconds. Yes. Sit for 15 seconds. Mister. No. Yes. Take 2 steps backwards and return. Yes. Jog 5 steps backwards and return. Chester. Yeah. Yes. Walk halfway around the dog to the right and return. Yes. Walk halfway around the dog to the left and return. Yes. Good job, buddy. Take 10 steps backwards and return. Yes. Sit for 5 seconds. Yes. Sit for 10 seconds. Yes. Sit for 15 seconds. Yes. Take 10 steps to the left and return. Yes. Take 10 steps to the right and return. Yes. Sit for 5 seconds. Yes. Sit for 10 seconds. Yes. Sit for 15 seconds. Yes. Sit for 20 seconds. Yes. Walk halfway around the dog to the right, clap your hands and return. Yes. Very good, buddy. Sit for 20 seconds. Yes. Walk halfway around the dog to the left, clap hands and return. Yes. Sit for 10 seconds. Yes. Jog 10 steps to the right and return. Yes. Jog in 10 steps to the left and return. Yes. Jog in place for 10 seconds. Just a... Go down. Yes, very good. Yes. Sit for 5 seconds. Yes. Sit for 10 seconds. Yes. Sit for 15 seconds. Yes. Jog in place for 20 seconds. Yes. Sit for 10 seconds. Jog backwards 5 steps and return. Yes. Jog 5 steps to the right and return. Yes. Jog 5 steps to the left and return. Yes. Sit for 5 seconds while you clap your hands. Yes. Sit for 10 seconds while you clap your hands. Yes. Sit for 10 seconds. Yes. Sit for 5 seconds. Yes. And done.
Very good, buddy. It was a good puppy. Oh my goodness gracious.
All right, all wrapped up with day 3, and Chester did another excellent job. Believe it or not, some of the fails that he had today came from user error, trainer error again. We have a little kiddie pool that we put plastic balls in, kind of like a ball pit that he can go rustle around in. Sometimes we put their food in there as a fun, big, room-sized snuffle toy. And while I was setting up today, I threw some treats in there and he seemed to be lured in there. So some of the fails, as he got a little bit more uncomfortable, he knew that he could go to that ball pit as a place of safety, as a place that might have some treats. And so he was a little bit more magnetized than I would like into that ball pit. And so some of the fails that we saw today as part of the protocol came from him going to search for treats. So I learned my lesson, not gonna throw some treats into the ball pit before we start today. And we'll be moving into a bigger space, a bigger room for day 4. So we've got more room to move around. Sit for 5 seconds. Yes. Sit for 10 seconds. Yes. Jog backwards 5 steps and return. Yes. Sit for 5 seconds. Yes. Sit for 10 seconds. Yes. Sit for 20 seconds. Yes. Jog halfway around the dog to the right and return. Yes. Jog halfway around the dog to the left and return.
Oh, was that hard for you? Okay, go back.
It's a fail. Down.
Yes. Very good.
Sit while you move 3/4 of the way around the dog to the right and return. Yes. Move 3/4 of the way around the dog to the left and return. Yes. Jog backwards 5 steps, clapping your hands and return. Yes. Sit for 10 seconds. Yes. Sit for 15 seconds. Yes. Clap your hands for 20 seconds. Yes. Quickly move backwards 10 steps and return. Yes, very good. Quickly move 15 steps backwards and return. Yes. Sit for 20 seconds. Yes. Jog halfway around the dog to the right and return. Yes. Jog halfway around the dog to the left and return. Yes. Quickly walk 15 steps to the left and return. Yes. Quickly walk 15 steps to the right and return. Yes. Sit for 20 seconds. Yes. Move 3/4 of the way around the dog to the right and return. Yes. Walk all the way around the dog. Yes. Walk approximately 20 steps to an entrance and return. Yes. Walk 20 steps to an entrance, clapping your hands and return. Yes. Sit for 20 seconds. Yes. Jog quickly around the dog.
Yes, very good.
Sit for 20 seconds. Yes. Sit for 10 seconds while you clap your hands. Yes.
Very good, buddy. That's all done for that day. Very good. Okay, come on, let's go.
And that's a wrap on day 4. Don't have much to say here today except Chester did amazingly awesome again. And I'm starting to see some of those connections be made. Days 1 through 3, a little bit of a question about what's going on. Well, I'm sitting here on the mat, that's fine, but maybe I jump up a little bit. Starting to see some of those connections be made that Chester's job just to stay on the mat, just to lay on the mat and absolutely nothing else. I'm not asking him to sniff, to interact with anything, to be comfortable with anything. I'm honestly just asking him to lay down and relax. And it was cool to see some of those pieces being connected in his brain in today's activities. So that's day 4. Sit for 5 seconds. Yes. Sit for 15 seconds. Yes. Walk quickly 15 steps to the left or to the right and return. Yes. Walk quickly 15 steps to the left and return. Yes. Walk 20 steps to an entrance and return. Yes. Walk 20 steps to an entrance, clapping your hands and return. Yes. Sit for 20 seconds. Yes. Walk around the dog, clapping your hands. Yes. Sit for 20 seconds. Yes. Sit for 10 seconds. Yes. Walk quickly backwards, clapping your hands in return. Yes. Walk 20 steps to an entrance and return. Yes. Walk 20 steps to an entrance, clapping your hands in return. Yes. Walk to an entrance and just touch the doorknob or wall and return. Yes. Sit for 10 seconds. Yes. Walk quickly backwards, clapping your hands in return. Yes. Walk 20 steps to an entrance and return. Yes. Walk 20 steps to an entrance, clapping your hands and return. Yes. Go to an entrance and touch the doorknob or wall and return. Yes. Sit for 20 seconds. Yes. Walk to an entrance, clapping your hands in return. Go to the entrance and touch the doorknob and return. Yes. Sit for 10 seconds. Yes. Touch a doorknob or move into an entryway and return. Yes. Sit for 10 seconds. Yes. Sit for 15 seconds while you clap your hands. Yes. Jog in place for 10 seconds. Yes. Sit for 5 seconds. Yes. Very good. That's it. Very good, buddy. Well, there you have it, folks. End of day 5, and Chester did amazing. We absolutely loved working with him on this. We brought him into a bigger room. Things went really well, and we added a little bit more stressors. This was the first day that we worked with lights. And so there was a little bit more for him to contend with. So we had some lights around so that we could get a better view of everything for the camera, for you all there. And it didn't even faze him today, which I thought was absolutely awesome. I did want to take a moment to talk about the importance of not increasing food value. So we've chosen for these days and for the rest of the protocol to be using Chester's kibble. So the normal food that he gets when we feed him in the morning and when we feed him at night. And we're not gonna be increasing that. Now we could move to some of the freeze-dried meat treats we get from Fig and Tyler. We've got some boiled chicken and some cheese and some hot dogs that we could cut up for him. And he would absolutely love that. But if I start increasing the value of the food over time, I don't get a very good read if he's progressing because he's feeling more comfortable with some of the more difficult things I'm asking of him, or because the food is helping him come through, and that's really what's making the magic happen, so to speak. So what we've decided to do, I'm just gonna keep kibble throughout the entire piece. So he gets 1 or 2 pieces of kibble every time he completes a successful task. And you know what? We're gonna keep that through all of the hard and difficult stuff, and that's gonna give me a really fair and balanced read when it comes to seeing how Chester is progressing through this program. Well, there you have it, folks. Dr. Karen Overall's Relaxation Protocols Day 1 through Day 5. If you're enjoying these videos, make sure that you're subscribed to our channel so that you'll get notified when we post new videos, especially days 6 through 10 and day 11 through 15, which are coming out soon. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And we're so glad that you're here to join us on our mission as we strengthen and energize the relationship with your dog. As always, thanks for watching. Bye for now.